This video, you could say it's about attacking your opponent's kamae. Let me share with you some basic concepts that might help you break your opponent's kamae and give you an opportunity for you to execute your technique. This requires a lot of practice, so first of all, let me get one thing straight. Don't be afraid of getting hit. During your practice, maintain a forward intention towards your opponent. You can learn how to recognize openings and approach your opponent just by attacking and asking yourself, why was this technique successful or why it wasn't? The first thing you need to break your opponent's kamae is to have a good kamae yourself. There are many things that make a kamae good. Being ready is one of them, and that will be the focus for this video. To do this, your back leg should always be pushing forward and your forward leg should keep you from going. Your arms and shoulders should be relaxed. This will help you be more agile and ready to move your shinai and your body any way you might need to. So Kendo tip number one, practice approaching your opponent without creating tension on your shoulders and arms. The next thing that you need to break your opponent's kamae, it's footwork. Learn to be effective using different side steps, especially small steps. Approaching your opponent with small steps will make it easier for you to adjust your position and change directions quickly when needed. However, it's not the only way. For example, you can approach your opponent by sliding your forward leg and then engaging into the technique when you see an opening. This is okay, just don't get in the habit of putting your weight on the forward leg and then you kind of get flat-footed, you disengage your back leg, and it makes it really hard to start the motion again. This is a really good opportunity for somebody to get an ippon on you. But let's talk about using your shinai. It's important for you to learn how to control your sword and use it to take the center of your opponent. The main thing that I see people try to do is push sideways to get the shinai out of the way. You may take the center away from your opponent, but you also lose yours. And if you have somebody that is really good at adapting, they can retake that center before you have the opportunity to reach them. Instead, what I like to do is I like to cut into the shinai rather than pushing it sideways. Just this tiny motion, it's enough to create an opening big enough for you to come in and take a technique. But also, it will help you keep your sword in center. To me, it almost feels like I'm shaving my opponent's sword, but you can also think about it as if you're trying to get on top of your opponent's shinai. I do this specifically to try to feel the tension and the intention of my opponent. This is something else, and please let me know down in the comments if you think I should make a video specifically on how to control your opponent's shinai with yours. I think that will be an interesting theme. And by the way, if you find this information useful, please help this channel, take 1 second and hit the like button below. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel so that way you keep getting Kendo tips your way. As you approach your opponent, you always want to keep the intention of your shinai towards the opponent. When doing things like harai, for example, what you want to do is you want to end the motion with the intention towards the opponent, and you want to avoid getting away too much from the center. And when you're blocking or deflecting, what you want to do is try to avoid getting the tip away from your opponent and try keeping it as much as possible towards the opponent. When you stretch your arms, naturally the shinai should go towards the target instead of having to readjust in order to get a strike. Sometimes you want a sharp motion in your shinai, and for this you need to use tenouchi. Again, I already made a video about this. I'm not gonna go too deep into this. What I want to say here is that you don't want to depend only in the motion of your arms to move the tip of your sword. Now, a little bit later in the video, I'm going to share a couple of things that you might want to do to get a little bit more proficient on this. So hold that thought for a second. To increase your chances of success, you cannot depend on one or the other. You have to have good timing and you have to integrate your footwork with your sword. Now, the best way for me to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves is to have momentum in your body by the time you decide to engage your sword. For example, you want to avoid knocking your opponent's shinai out of the way and then making the decision to go because you see the opening. If you do this, most likely if you have somebody that has experience, they're going to readjust and you're not gonna get your target. What you want is to have motion in your body before you decide to engage your hand. I hope this makes sense. Please, if you have any questions, let me know that in the comments. I will try to answer them to the best of my abilities. Of course, there are a couple of things that you can do to start developing these skills inside and outside of the dojo. First, try to get comfortable learning how to move different ways, short steps, long steps, switching between them, and even sliding your forward leg towards your opponent before you engage into a technique. Also, work on moving your body without creating tension in your arms. One thing that I like to do to practice this is to try to do fumikomi or a lunge in a fumikomi without engaging my arms. To work on your sword movement and control, there are a couple of things I like to do. One of them, I like to make circles where there is clockwise, counterclockwise, make them small, make them big, change direction, change speed. You can make different shapes as well. And with this, you can learn how to use your left hand to move the tip of your sword efficiently. And of course, as I said before, practice cutting into your opponent's center by making small motions up and down rather than knocking the sword out of the way before you attack. And then practice this with a partner as well. Also, practice sharp motions from your shinai and try to visualize yourself transitioning into a technique. With a partner, you can try feeling your opponent's shinai as you approach them, both sides, switching from one side to another without losing your center. There's a couple little drills you can practice to understand how to efficiently move and not get stuck with your opponent as you approach them. Don't forget to put all of this together with your footwork. Please let me know down in the comments, how do you approach your opponent? What are some of the things that you keep in mind as you do so? And maybe some techniques that you use to avoid getting stuck with your opponent or efficiently control them to attack. If you like to explore how to be more explosive and transition into an attack, you may want to check out this video right here. Also, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. If you found some value from this video, take a second, hit the like button. If you haven't, subscribe to the channel to keep getting more videos your way. And thank you very much for watching. Please share this video with someone you want their Kendo to improve.